I can't believe Israel really thinks he can just show up, have sex with me, and I'm supposed to be satisfied. Who does he think he's dealing with? I know he's out here doing more than what he's telling me. And one way or another, I'm going to find out exactly what's been taking up all my man's time. It was summer break, and I decided I wanted to go back home to Buffalo. Check on my mom, my friends, just get away for a little while. So I called Israel to see if he wanted to come with me. He picked up on the first ring. Yo! I hated when he answered the phone like that, when he knew it was me. What are you doing? I asked. Chilling, boo. What's up? He said. I was thinking about going back home for a little while, and I wanted to know if you wanted to come with me, I said. How long are you trying to stay? He asked. I can't take too much time off work. So maybe like a month, I said. Baby, I know that's home for you, but I can't be gone that long. I can go, but only for about a week, he said. I paused for a second, then sighed. I guess that'll have to work, I said. I was thinking about driving down there in a few days, and you could just catch a flight back, I said. Wait, I gotta fly back? Why I can't drive and you fly? He said. I rolled my eyes. This man is ridiculous. I'm not about to be stuck out there with no car. You know, I don't depend on anybody for anything, especially not a ride, I said. After a little back and forth, we finally agreed. We were leaving in a few days.
Damn, I gotta tie up a few loose ends before I leave town. I wasn't really planning on taking this trip, but I figured it might be a good idea. I know I haven't been around like I should, and I did tell myself I needed to spend more time with her. So I guess this is me doing that. She deserves that much. Vernon will hold things down while I'm gone. He knows what he's doing. I'm only going to be gone for a week anyway. How much could really happen in that time?
I'm actually excited to go back home to see my mom and my girls. It feels like we've been out of touch lately. Trying to keep up with friendships, sometimes it's harder than it should be. I figured I'd call my mom and let her know I'd be there in a couple of days. I tried the house phone first. No answer. So I called her cell. She picked up. Hey, baby. I'm glad you called. Hey, mommy. I just wanted to let you know me and Israel are coming up there in a couple of days. Where you at? I asked. Oh, that's wonderful, baby. And I'm grown. Where I am is none of your business, she said, laughing. All right, then, I said. Then her tone shifted. Baby, when you get here, we need to sit down and have a real conversation. My stomach dropped a little. What's wrong, Mom? I asked. You already know how I feel about talking over the phone. We'll talk when you get here. Don't worry, though. All right, if you say so, I'll let you get back to your grown business, I said. I love you. Love you too, sweetie. Be safe getting here, she said, and hung up. I just sat there for a second, thinking, what could she possibly want to talk about? She said, don't worry. So I'm going to try not to. It was early, around 6 a.m. I packed up all my things and loaded them into my Mustang. I loved that car. I worked hard for it. I pulled up to get Israel, and he was already outside, walking toward me, always trying to be slick. He said something about saving me a trip, and I just looked at him like, yeah, okay. We loaded up his things, and just like that, we were on the road. I figured we'd get back home sometime in the afternoon. We stopped for breakfast, grabbed something quick, then hit the highway. Somewhere along the drive, we started talking about family, and his mom came up. I joked around a little, but he wasn't really feeling it. That's just how he is sometimes. Certain things he don't play about. So I let it go. The drive was smooth after that. We made good time, stopped once to fill up, grabbed a little food, and kept it moving. At one point, I looked over at him while he was driving. And I don't know. Something about the way he was just sitting there, relaxed, focused, it did something to me. I started messing with him a little, just being playful. And I could see it got his attention. He told me to chill. I told him to just focus on the road. And we both laughed it off. I wasn't about to do too much. We still had a long drive ahead of us. Some things can wait. We got into town around 2:30, but before we even made it to either of our mom's houses, he had to make a stop. Main Street. Of course. If I didn't know any better, I would swear he owned that whole block. Back when we lived in Buffalo, that was his world. Main Street, a couple of side streets, and that was it. I used to wonder if he even knew there was more out there. As soon as we pulled up, it was like a whole scene. Everybody running up to him, dapping him up, laughing, talking, like he was some kind of celebrity, and he was eating it up. Then here come his boys, Monty, loud as ever, and Warren right behind him. Same energy, same crew, same everything. You could tell they were happy to see him, and he loved every second of it. They started joking with him about leaving town, but it was all love. Then they turned their attention to me, asking how I'd been, telling me to check in with my girl. Apparently, she'd been going through something. That caught my attention real quick. Now I'm thinking, what happened? And why do I feel like I already know the answer? I swear, if he messed up again, I'm not about to play nice this time. Come on, baby. Let's go drop our stuff off. I'm sure your boys will come get you later, I told him. He agreed. And before we pulled off, he was already setting up a ride. Of course, we got to his mom's house first. I told him I'd call him later. We kissed, and he grabbed his things and headed inside. And just like that, we split. I couldn't even lie. I was excited. I missed my mom. As I pulled up to the house, I noticed a car in the driveway I didn't recognize. That caught my attention. I started grabbing my things out the car, and before I could even finish, my mom came running out the house. "There's my baby," she said, pulling me into a hug. "Look at you. You look good. I see DC been treating you right." "Mom, stop playing." I looked the same. I laughed. But if I'm being honest, I did put on a little weight in all the right places. We grabbed my bags and headed inside. And as soon as I walked in, there they were, Marie and Renee. They both jumped up, ran over to me, and we all just started hugging and laughing. "Let me find out my mama told y'all I was coming." "I was trying to surprise y'all," I said. "Girl, you know Mama Elaine can't hold water," Renee said. We all started laughing. It felt good, like nothing had changed. "We got a lot to catch up on," Marie said. "Yeah, I believe we do," I said. Then I looked at them. "I saw your boy," I said. Marie made a face. "He tried to act innocent, too, didn't he?" she said. "That dude ain't right." I shook my head. "We'll talk about it later." Back in the kitchen, my mom was finishing up dinner. And of course, she invited Marie and Renee to stay. And of course, they said yes. If it was one thing my mom was going to do, it was cook. And not just cook. She threw down. I already knew where she got it from. Grandma May, she was a chef in her own right. And my mom definitely picked up those skills from her. I swear, if you didn't know any better, you'd think it was a holiday. There was food everywhere: pot roast, smothered chicken, greens, mac and cheese, rice, dressing, cabbage, roasted corn, potatoes, black-eyed peas, cornbread, and desserts. Don't even get me started. By the time we finished eating, we were done, full, tired, ready to pass out. But something told me sleep wasn't about to happen just yet. My mom told us to go ahead and catch up, said we could talk later. I tried to stay, but she insisted. So me and the girls headed out. We all piled into Renee's car, and I couldn't even lie. She was riding nice. Brand new Altima. I see somebody leveled up. On the way, she mentioned she had her own place now. Said we could go over there so she could show me around. Oh, so you came up since I left? I joked. But when she started talking, I realized it wasn't all sweet. She told me she had to get out of her mom's house. Said things had gotten bad. Real bad. Apparently her mom had started drinking heavy after her boyfriend left, and it just went downhill from there. She was going through Renee's things, even stealing from her. That caught me off guard. Her mom was always so sweet, at least. That's how I remembered her. But I guess hurt will change people. I asked her if she ever tried to get her help, and she told me she did. But her mom wasn't trying to hear it. Stubborn, and honestly, it sounded like she had just accepted it. That part bothered me. I told her I just hoped her mom wasn't out here driving like that, because I've seen what that can lead to. She reassured me she wasn't. Said she didn't even have a car anymore. Sold it, just to keep up with her habits. Now Renee was the one taking care of everything. Paying bills, buying groceries, handling it all. That made me look at her differently. You must be doing your thing out here to be holding it down like that, I said. She just laughed it off. Said she had to. She learned real quick she couldn't depend on anybody, especially not Warren. That told me everything I needed to know. So naturally, I asked where she was working. And that's when things got quiet. Real quiet. I caught the look between her and Marie, like they weren't trying to say too much just yet. Renee finally spoke up. Said we'd talk about it when we got to her place. I agreed. But now I was really paying attention. Something wasn't adding up.
I can't even lie. It felt good being back with my boys. I didn't realize how much I missed this, just kicking it like old times. Me, Warren, and Monty decided to grab a drink at one of the spots in the neighborhood, and of course, they wanted to know what I had going on. So I gave them a little insight into my latest business move. They were surprised, real surprised. Didn't think I had it in me like that, but they don't really understand. This kind of life doesn't have an age limit. If you know what you're doing, and you know how to talk to people, you can make things happen. Simple as that. This isn't something everybody can do though. It takes a certain mindset, a certain level of control, and honestly, I've been around it long enough to know how it works. My uncle was in the game, so in a way, this was already familiar to me. It's not easy, but the money is steady. And the people I deal with, they're not just anybody. We're talking professionals, people with real careers, real reputations, people who have a lot to lose. Some of them just want an escape. Some of them want conversation. Some of them want more. Either way, as long as they're spending, I'm providing. That's the business. I make sure everything is handled properly though. Everything stays organized, controlled, and respectful. That's how you keep things running smooth. That's how you build something real. They could tell I had it figured out. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I felt good talking about it. I built something and it was working. But then, of course, they had to bring up Dee. asking what she thought about all of it. That question right there, I wasn't even entertaining. I keep my personal life and my business completely separate. That's how it has to be. Some things just don't mix. That's when Warren jumped in and started talking about Renee. You could tell he felt strongly about it. He basically made it clear there's no way he could deal with something like that when it comes to his girl. He said he doesn't judge how anybody else gets their money, but certain things, that's not something he could accept in his own relationship, not with someone he's serious about, and the way he said it, you could tell he meant every word. Me and Monty just looked at him because, yeah, we already knew where he stood. We laughed it off, kept talking, ordered another round, and before I knew it, I was starting to feel it a little. That's when we decided we were going out that night, just like old times. They dropped me off, and I headed inside, figuring I'd get a quick nap in before everything started back up.
When we pulled up to Renee's place, I couldn't even lie. It was nice. Real nice. I already knew if her and Warren were living together, they weren't settling for anything less. We walked in, and everything was put together. Clean, organized, styled just right. Matching furniture, a big dining table with gold accents, even a huge painting on the wall that almost felt like it was staring back at you. And the fish tank? Full of the most colorful fish I'd ever seen. She was living good. I see you over here doing your thing, I said. She just smiled, kept it humble, gave me a full tour of the place, and every room looked just as good as the last. She always did like things a certain way, everything in its place. We ended up back in the living room, sat down, and that's when I got straight to it. So what's really going on? I asked. I saw her take a deep breath, like she was about to say something big. Dee, are you open-minded? Like, willing to try new things? That question caught me off guard. The last time I heard something like that, it didn't end normal. Just say what you gotta say, I told her. Then she started talking, and everything started making sense. She told me about running into Keita one day, how the conversation went, and how it led her into something she never saw herself doing. At first, it sounded simple. Just going out, spending time, getting paid. But then it turned into something more, something she wasn't really prepared for. She said she turned it down at first, but when Warren got locked up, ended up doing 6 months in county, everything changed. Bills didn't stop. Life didn't stop. So she made a choice. One she felt like she had to make. The first time, she said she was nervous, didn't really know what to expect, but she went through with it anyway. And after that, it just became something she kept doing, week after week, meeting different people, making money, trying to keep everything afloat. She told me she made sure to protect herself, kept everything as safe as possible, even stayed on top of her health. But still, you could hear it in her voice, that it wasn't something she was proud of, just something she felt like she had to do. By the time she finished talking, the room felt different, heavy, like everything had shifted. I know that was a lot, she said quietly, but I didn't even know what to say yet. After she finished talking, I just sat there for a second, shocked. I looked over at Marie, and she just shrugged, like it was nothing, like this was normal. I didn't even know what to say at first, but I had to say something. You grown, so I guess you know what you're doing, I said, but I don't agree with it. That's dangerous. I shook my head. I just can't believe you got yourself caught up in something like that. Renee looked at me, calm as ever. Dee, I'm not out here playing myself, she said. I didn't have a choice. And the way she said it, you could tell she meant that. She started explaining how everything worked, how she moved, how careful she was, how she kept her real life separate from everything else, even using a different name. To her, it wasn't emotional. It was business. She made it clear she wasn't getting attached, wasn't letting anything cross into her real life. She was just trying to survive. And, in her words, live a little better. Then I asked her about Warren, because that part didn't sit right with me. She told me he had no idea. Between her job and everything else, she had it covered, at least. That's what she believed. I listened to her, really listened, and honestly, she sounded like she had everything under control. So who was I to judge? What if I was in her position? What if I needed money fast? I let out a small sigh. All right, if you good with it, then I'm good with it, I said. The way her face lit up, you would have thought I just gave her permission to breathe again. She hugged me tight, and in that moment, I realized she needed my approval more than she was letting on. Marie cut in, changing the energy. All right, now that's out the way? We hitting the club tonight, or what? I laughed. But before we moved on, I had one more question. So what's going on with you and Monty? I asked. Marie rolled her eyes. Girl, it's nothing I can't handle, she said. He just mad because he got caught cheating? That caught my attention real quick. She went on about how she handled it, how she always stays one step ahead, and how she doesn't play when it comes to respect. We all started laughing because Marie, she's always been a little wild, but one thing about her, she meant what she said. By the time we wrapped up, we had already made plans for the night. Club it was. Renee dropped me back off at my mom's house, and as I walked inside, I could feel it. Something about this trip was already different, and somehow I knew it was only the beginning.